Welcome, good people of a great nation. It's a pleasure to welcome you to the discussion segment of Development Focus with Jide on ITV today, the 12th day of May 2021. We are gradually approaching the middle of the month, and something happened last week, precisely on Friday, when Supreme Court gave two rulings, or two judgments, let me put it that way, concerning the dissolution of elected local government officials in Katsina and Oyo State. That Supreme Court decision has been generating a lot of furore in the past few days, with many people lauding that Supreme Court judgment. What is the judgment about? The Supreme Court said, look, it's unconstitutional, ultra vires, null and void for the governor of a state to dissolve duly elected local government officials and replacing them with caretaker committees or sole administrators. At the last count, this ugly phenomenon has happened in a number of states, including Abia, Ekiti, Plateau, and of recent, Katsina and Oyo State. So the Supreme Court has given a verdict reinforcing and restating its earlier position that it's a breach of Section 7, subsection 1 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to have an unelected, chairman and councillors running the affairs of local governments in Nigeria. Now, I've been able to pull in an operator within the system, and that is the chairman of Karu, local government, Nasarawa State. Nasarawa, for those of you watching, you may not know, is just an adjoining state to FCT, that's Federal Capital Territory. And the person I brought, his name is Honorable Akala Samuel Gajere. You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Now, tell us a bit about yourself before we go into discussing issues of local government, autonomy, and all of that. Let's get to know you and what you do outside of politics or before going into politics.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Ojo. It's my pleasure to join you this morning. Well, my name is Samuel Akala, and I'm from Nasarawa State. I was born and brought up in Nasarawa State. I'm one of those who have very, very humble beginning because I had my primary education in my village in Angwampa and She in Karo local government, and then proceeded to GSS Buhari in Abuja, and then became the first pioneers of the Nasarawa State University, Kefi, where I studied economics and came out with a 2-1. And then, of course, while in school, we ventured into student politics, student unionism. We basically established the student union government and the umbrella body of the Nasarawa State students that is today running in the school. Today, when you check the constitution of those two organizations, you will see Akala Samuel written in all of them, because we visited other schools to bring in documents that forms what is the student body operating today. And then I think that prompted me to go into full-fledged politics. And then after graduation, after service in Delta State, I joined my brother and friend to campaign for the election in 2008, where the elections for local governments in Nasarawa State were conducted. And then Honorable Joseph Aura won, who is my very good brother and friend. And then he decided to engage me as his protocol officer to work with him. And then from there, we proceeded, and I joined Al-Makura in 2011 in the CPC to galvanize support for the governorship election, and he won. This is the first time that you see somebody just coming out and join a new political party and defeat an incumbent. And then real change took place in Nasarawa State. And it's basically young persons that galvanized those support and gave Al-Makura the vote. And then Al-Makura deemed it necessary to appoint me as a special advisor on youth and NGO, where I worked with him throughout his tenure. And then from there, I contested for local government chairman. And today, I am the executive chairman, Kara Local Government Council, and I'm serving my term and rounding up already. It means I've had the privilege to work as protocol officer in the local government. I'd also worked as supervisory councillor in the local government, as also a special advisor to the chairman in the local government before proceeding to work with the governor as special advisor on youth and NGO. So that's basically my brief history, and I'm not too old. I'm just about 38 years old.
You struck me on that count. You made good what they say about not too young to rule.
Absolutely. I typify that, actually.
Yeah, not too young to rule. Now, that's very interesting. That's why when I bring my guests, I allow them few minutes to talk about themselves, because that could be the ignition to inspire somebody.
That's correct.
You understand? It's not just about talking about abstract issues, development issues. Even from the life of someone, you can draw inspiration.
That's very true.
That could also give you idea of how to move on with your own life. And you have a very inspiring story, coming from very humble background, going through the school system and carving a niche for yourself. Now, so we are talking to a grassroots politician, basically. By the way, we have a former governor in Oyo State, that's Akala. I don't know whether you are related to him.
No, not at all.
That was on the lighter mood. That was on the lighter mood. I know, that has to tell you how cross-cutting our cultures are.
That's right.
You hear some names, you think they are Yoruba, like our Honorable Minister of Transportation, Rotimi.
Yeah.
Rotimi is Yoruba.
That's correct.
Name, but he has that as part of his name. Well, let's get to the issue. We are discussing the imperative of local government autonomy in Nigeria. You served as protocol officer. You served as supervisory councillor.
That's correct.
You served as
special advisor
to the chairman of local government. Now you yourself, you are now a chairman of a local government. Now tell us your own impression and perspective of local government administration in Nigeria.
Well, I think my little sojourn in the local government administration in Nasarawa State, particularly in Karo local government, has exposed me to a lot of things happening at the third tier of government. Now, I hold firm opinion that one, the third tier of government is supposed to be the strongest tier of government in this country. And then two, over the years, with my experience in the local government, I've also discovered that the third tier of government has been relegated to the background. And because of that, a lot of Nigerians have lost confidence in the third tier of government. That is why people really don't ask questions. What is my chairman doing? What is my councillor really doing? And then because of that, administrators in the local government take advantage and then just do whatever they wish. And that is why you see in some areas, you don't find the administrators in the office regularly. They don't even live within the local government headquarters. They live somewhere. And then because of the kind of laws, the provisions of our constitutions, which has put the local government and the third tier of government at a disadvantaged position, and then you find the law giving latitude to the states to really interfere with the operations of local government. And that is why today you hear a governor can dissolve a duly elected council. You hear that some states running for several years, there is no election. You find them appointing caretaker committees, sometimes for 6 months, sometimes for 1 year, just at the discretion of the governor. And then you will also find houses of assembly also trying to legalize illegality in various states, because there is no law you will do for a caretaker committee that supersedes the law of the constitution, the law of the country. that says that you must have elected councils in place in the third tier of government. So because of that, a lot of issues, I can tell you for sure, Mr. Ojo, that has contributed immensely to the challenges the country is having today, be it security, be it development-wise. Because I have also hold the opinion that if you want to talk about development, development is security, and underdevelopment or lack of it can also lead to insecurity in the country. So once the people are properly engaged and finding themselves on a daily basis doing what they can fend for themselves, nobody thinks of doing the wrong thing, you know. And of course, sometimes I also say, oh, is it that this thing is not taking place so that people can find a lot of jobless people who will come and say Rankadede, you know, for instance, what is said in the parlance in the north. Rankadede. If you, for me, if I go out now, I jam a lot, they'll tell me Rankadede, you know, just for me to squeeze in something and give to the boys, you know. So for me, in the 21st century, that is not the right way to go, because small and medium scale enterprises operate in the third tier of government. Nobody lives in federal government or state government. Everybody lives in a local government.
Even Mr. President is living in Amak.
Mr. President lives in Amak whenever he's in the presidential villa.
Yeah.
If he goes home, he's in Daura local government.
Daura local
you know?
government. That's
so
true.
Every Nigerian lives in a local government. So it is expected, and the first point of call for every Nigerian is the local government chairman. If the road, if the street is bad, he does not think of calling the governor. He will call first his local government chairman.
But that's the local government chairman, you know. That's the one you know. Some of us don't even know our councillor.
Challenges. The governor will have to also call you. The citizens within the locality will call you. You know. So, but the situation we have found ourselves today has made it very, very difficult for the local government to be effective enough to tackle these challenges. And it has given rise to you having a lot of incompetent administrators in the local government. This is because of the loss of confidence and relegation of the system, anybody can become chairman, anybody can become a councillor. So in that kind of situation, you will not expect a different result when you don't have a competent administrator. Of course, you don't expect any credible result.
Okay, you've painted a very bleak picture of the local government administration. What has been the experience of Nasarawa State compared to other states?
Well, for me, I always say, as a young man, you know, sometimes I really don't politicize my comments on strengthening local government, because today I have the privilege to now become a stakeholder in the local government administration. So most times when I have the privilege to make my comments on this, I don't politicize them. But somebody can sit and say, oh, because he's local government chairman, why wouldn't he speak about his governor in good light, so that the governor does not go and fire him, you know. But for me, as a local government chairman, I think I have seen it all. I have gone beyond politicizing some of these things. And I have always hold an opinion that since the assumption of office of the former governor of Nasarawa State, His Excellency, who is now Senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Umaru Tanko Almakura, he is the one who has started giving hope to the third tier of government in Nasarawa State. This is because in 2013, this man conducted election. In the history of this country, it is difficult for you to find a sitting governor of a political party conduct election into local government councils for local government chairman and councillor, and then you find another political party winning any seats. It is difficult, it is hardly seen. But in 2013, this man conducted election and said, please, I want this election to be transparent. I want the people to decide who administer their various locality. And the people decided. Amazingly, 4 of the local government councils in Nasarawa State were won by PDP. And Almakura is of the APC. You find councillors in SDP. You find councillors in other political parties winning elections in Nasarawa State. So for us in Nasarawa State, that is the beginning of the salvation of the third tier of government in the state. And then these people serve their term. Nobody has come to say, because you're of the PDP, I am dissolving you of anything. And then the same governor again conducted another election that brought us to power, because the current governor met us in the office. We are the only set of political office holder that he met on ground. Ordinarily, like it happens in Katsina or you and others, he would just say, oh, because I did not conduct your election, you are not my boys. You are not loyal to me. You are loyal to the former governor, so I will dissolve. He never did that. Rather, what he has chosen to do to strengthen the system is to say that he invited us and say, I am allowing you to serve the tenure that you've been duly elected by the people. And then I am going to allow you the free hands to run the third tier of government. Let me see what it looks like. And that is why I tell people everywhere, the 13 local government councils in Nasarawa State are in charge of the third tier of government. We are in charge of our resources. The governor has never at any point in time invited local government chairmen to say, oh, this month you are giving the state government, or you are giving so person so amount of money from your purse. But the only thing the third tier of government does in Nasarawa State is that once monies accruing in the 13 local government councils for Nasarawa State, what we do is playing a brotherly role. This is because some local government councils, if their funds are allowed to get to them the way they came in from Abuja, they can't pay salaries. You know, they can't pay salaries because of the over-bloated staff that we have. So what we do is to collapse these funds into one pool. We have 13 local government councils in Nasarawa State. So ensure that we get in first line charge, get in salaries to be paid, and then whatever is left is distributed. So I think we have a case to study in Nasarawa State. And I would really, really strongly recommend that those of you who have devoted time, energy, and resources to see that we bring this conversation to the limelight, I think we can do a deeper study of what is obtainable in Nasarawa State. We have a case in Nasarawa State that I think other states can look at. For us, I have been chairman for 3 years, and these 3 years, no governor in the state. I have worked with 2 governors as I speak with you, and then no governor in the state has said, oh, this month, Caro, what comes to you? Please, you're taking so percentage to so. No, nothing has happened like that. And that is why, if you look at what we've been able to do in Nasarawa State, we've been able to rekindle hope in local government administration. And that is why I can travel out of the country, speak with international NGOs, and have interventions. As I speak with you now, the UN Habitat is making an intervention of over 100 million naira in my community. And this is because I paid advocacy visits. Unlike before, the governor will tell you, you don't need to go anywhere until you get approval from me. But in our state, the governor has given us the free hands to operate. And that is why today we've done a lot of projects in our state. You visit local government, you can see visibly what we've been able to do. So I think there's a case to study in Nasarawa State.
So in Nasarawa State, all the councillors and chairmen now, currently, are you all APC?
Yes, we're currently APC, with the exception of a few councillors in other local
Okay, but there are
all the chairmen.
All the chairmen are APC, but some of the councillors belong to other political parties. Okay, now, as a third tier of government, because you are the first person from that tier of government that I will be hosting on this show. Okay. And I want us to talk about exactly how does a local government administration run? How do you run? For instance, on your daily basis, tell us about your departments in Karu, local government. What is your nominal? How many staff do you have? What are your if you are, do you have a council that sits? Do you have a budget for a particular year, or you just do what they call just okay, how much we have 20 million. Let's see whether we can clean drainage and all of that. Do you have a budget that is guiding you and all of that? So just run us through what a normal administration of local government, using your own Karu local government as an example for us.
Okay, the local government, for me, it's when I came in as the administrator, I can tell you specifically what is obtainable. The normal system for us in Cairo local government, we have departments within the local government that are headed by, if there are no elected council, it's headed by the directors.
Okay.
The directors are in charge of their departments. For instance, you have the personnel department, the health department, the works department, the finance department, the planning department. You also have the education department, the social services. So these are the departments.
About seven.
About 7 of them.
Okay.
Operative within the local government in Nasarawa State.
Okay.
And they have all directors in place.
Okay.
The directors are the technical officers.
Okay.
And then when you have elected council in place, now you have those departments spearheaded by supervisory councillors.
Are they appointed to supervisory?
They are appointed by the chairman.
From the council? Or
no,
outside
the council.
Okay.
They are just like commissioners and ministers.
Yes. So they are appointed independently, like a governor will appoint commissioners.
Yeah,
okay.
Like the president appoints ministers. Send the list to the National Assembly or send
How many wards are in Karu?
For instance, in Karu we have 11 electoral wards.
Electoral wards.
Yes.
And,
so those electoral wards, you have elected councillors.
Yeah. So you have 11 councillors. Okay. So you have 11 councillors. How many communities are there in Karu local government?
Well, I won't be able to give you figures because of our proximity to the FCT. The communities are huge, but every community falls within a ward.
Yeah,
so if you go, for instance, you say Karu ward, you start listing Masaka, New Nyanya, Adu, Maraba, all of those communities, they fall under a ward. So when you go to Gurku Kabusu ward, you list all the communities. So they are really, really
because how will you judge the contiguity of Karu to FCT? Is it a blessing or a curse?
Well, there are huge advantages and disadvantages for us.
Walk us through that.
One, Karo local government share the longest boundary with the FCT. No local government in this country has that long boundary. And again, we are the closest to the FCT. There is no local government outside the area councils of the FCT that is as close. And that is why you see that our axis is the route, our own axis is more busy than any other road outside the FCT. Majority of the workforce, including your staff here, reside in our locality. Majority of the workforce in Abuja reside there. So the disadvantage of our proximity to the FCT is that, one, the locality is not benefiting anything from our proximity to the FCT.
How do you mean? But they pay tax.
No, I'm coming to that now. Ordinarily, the workers who reside there and work in the FCT, whether in the private sector or the public sector, they are supposed to be paying their pay to Nasarawa state government.
Oh, okay.
But that is really, really not working out, because there are various MDAs do not remit those taxes until now, that the state government is beginning to get data of those kind of persons and then write to affected
but there is a joint tax board.
Of course there is.
Okay, so
of course there is. And now we expect, because whatever we do, for instance, as a local government or as a state, is overstretched. If I do, for instance, provide water for a community that ordinarily you have just few 100 and something 200 that should benefit, you have over 1,000 to scamper, and then all the amenities are overstretched. Even if you build a road, because of the high flow of traffic on those roads, the roads will not last as long as you will want them to last. Then we expect that, for instance, Karo, because of our proximity to the FCT, we're very close to Osuman Dam here, but we don't have water. All the water that is being utilized in the locality today are provided by private persons, private boreholes. And we all know the implication of that to the environment. Now, and that is why when I came in as chairman, what I did first is to pay strong advocacy visits to federal government MDAs to say, look, our proximity to the FCT will shoulder the burden of your workforce, will shoulder the burden of Nigerian. There is no Nigerian that you cannot find in Karo. No Nigerian at all, and non-Nigerians alike. Then we need to tell our story to say, look, federal government, we shoulder their burden. And then again, you cannot leave the development of Karo to only the local government and Nasarawa state government. This is because it's as though we're doing it to the whole country. Therefore, we need you to make deliberate budgetary provision for infrastructural development of this locality, so that you don't allow the local government to be a breeding ground for criminals. Because if you don't develop our corridor, it means that criminals can hide in Karo and then come to the FCT and do whatever they want to do because they find cheap accommodation, they find cheap hideouts in the locality. So we will not allow our locality, because of our proximity to the FCT, and then to just be a place where we just house Nigerians and then they go to the FCT. Once you drive out from Nyanya, you are stepping into Mararaba. The difference is too clear, is too glaring. You can see from the traffic gridlock, you can see from the infrastructures, you can see from the nature of roads that we have. And that is why you see that we have advocated, why can't we have alternative routes to the FCT? Why should we allow the roads leading to the FCT to be so congested to the point that those routes now pose a serious security threat on our locality? And that is why in the morning, we're typically known for traffic gridlock now. When you mention Karo, they'll tell you, is it that way you have that who goes slow every morning and evening? So for us, that gives us a very, very bad image. But the only advantages is that, yes, we have the potentials to grow IGR as a local government and as a state. And then, of course, we're close to the FCT. Properties, economic activities are huge. Karo local government is basically the commercial hub of Nasarawa state because of our proximity. So a lot of trading activities, a lot of people do their investments there. And that is why you find land quite expensive. And of course, you also find very, very high land dispute within the locality because of our proximity to FC. So for us, advantages, disadvantages are huge.
But can you have you been able to speak with your governor to liaise with the FCT minister? You know, let them at that level, you know, have this conversation about, you know, how to open up, particularly the infrastructural. Bridge the infrastructural gap between the two adjoining states. Maybe counterpart funding would do the magic, because I know it's beyond what a council can shoulder. But let's look at your responsibility. It's listed in the Constitution.
That's correct.
First schedule.
Yeah.
So many responsibilities are given to a local government. How have you fared in carrying out those responsibilities?
Okay, just before that, the governor, you know, this is the first time we're having a private, complete private person coming to govern the state. Completely.
Okay.
He has never worked for government in his entire life.
Oh.
You know, he left as group managing director at the Dangote Sugar Refinery to be the governor of Nasarawa State. So he is doing extremely very well in terms of speaking with FCT minister, the federal government.
And even the organized private sector can do a lot.
As I speak with you now, he's working on accessing certain funds, and of course in partnership with private organizations, to provide alternative routes that will likely going to be towed accessing to the FCT and going out of the FCT.
Yeah.
If you want to use the free road, you will pay
Yeah,
and use the free
I mean,
road.
it's not like Lekki toll gate in Lagos.
So that is what the governor now currently is working on, and is working on doing a lot of roads within the locality, and of course to also upgrade Medicare to provide alternative access to medical facilities. Not that everybody drives to Abuja. We want to see people driving outside Abuja to Karo to access Medicare. So those are the things the governor is focusing on right now. Now there is a major road that the federal government, because of his discussion with the federal government, they've taken. They're going to do a road from here on Papi that will run through Guruku, linking Panda Gitata, accessing Kaduna Jos Road.
Wow.
So if you're going to Kaduna Jos Road, you don't need to pass through Maraba, Kefi, and all of that. You will just drive from Mpapi and just bust out at Kaduna Road. Okay. And then you're off. If you're coming from Kaduna Jos, you don't have any business in Kefi, in Karo, you will just drive and find yourself at the city center. So that is also at the top discussion of the governor, and the federal government has agreed to do that. Now, the operations of the local government, just like I started, once you have the elected council, the chairman is in charge. You have the chairman appoints supervisory councillor for the list to the legislative arm, which is made up of councillors elected from various wards. And then when the councillors come as elected, they elect their leaders. They have their speaker, deputy speaker, majority leader, chief whip, and all of
How often do they meet?
Yeah, they meet, I think, about 4 times in a month.
Okay.
So almost every week. They meet every week.
So do you have a budget?
I'm driving to that now.
Okay.
Now, once you have elected council, when I was elected in 2018, I came in May, and I could not run until I do a budget. Though I met a budget that is effective, but I took over from a caretaker committee chairman. You know, so all we need to do is to do a supplementary budget to the House to accommodate what we need to do by the elected council, since we have a full elected council. So every year we do a budget to the legislative arm for them to pass before we operate, carry out our activities. And when I came into, you know, the legislative arm, I also saddled with the responsibility of doing bylaws, enacting bylaws. Yeah. So the Constitution will tell us that, yes, you can generate revenue, for instance, in so area. But the Constitution will not spell out how much are you going to charge as your tax rate, for instance. It doesn't say all of that. So the council has been there. My local government was created in 1991. But we have not had bylaws that specifically clearly states as a law the tax rate is supposed to be a product of law. Not that the chairman will sit at his discretion, or the tax officers, 5,000 or the tax officers at their discretion will say pay 10,000, 5,000 and this. No, I came in and I said, no, this is not tax administration. So what we did is to now draft some bills, executive bills, to the House, to the legislative arm for passage, and I gave 17 number of those bills to the House. They were passed into law, and today every tax, whether Okada, market woman, commercial bus driver, medium shop owner, big shop owner, factories and what have you, are clearly stated in our laws.
So they know how much they have to pay.
Exactly.
Monthly or annually.
What we believe is that the taxpayer should know how much he is supposed to pay by law. And the tax administrator, the essence is to regulate the process and also make it more transparent. So when we did that, we passed those number of bylaws, ranging from tax to regulation of certain human conduct within the community. Because of our proximity to the FCT, the population is huge. So you find people running beer parlors in the morning, you go out, you see beer parlor running. It's not obtainable in a decent community. So criminals use those kind of places as hideout. You see, so for instance, nightclub operating in residential areas. So those laws were meant to regulate those kind of activities. So after those passage of those laws, the law also provide that we can now create a platform for tax payment. So we created those platforms, engaged a technical partner, then put those laws on those platforms that anybody can access without paying any money. But if you want, because they are gazetted, you pay 2,000 naira and pick a hard copy from the office. So we held several town hall meetings to get them to be aware that, please, you need to know by law how much you're supposed to pay. And if you are given a bill, you just check your law. What is applicable to you? If they give you a bill that is more than what the law says you should pay, please don't pay. And don't pay cash to anybody. Please move to the council account. We're on Pay Direct. We register on Pay Direct. So the only thing you need is your tax ID. You walk into any commercial bank, make your payment. So by that, I can tell you, we were able to block a lot of leakages because the tax guys within the office will just have receipts in their pockets.
Private receipts.
They have receipts in their pocket. They throw anywhere with those receipts in their pocket. And then we say that we have banned cash payment, banned handwritten issuance of receipts. So once you pay, you come to the office with your tax ID. Once it's entered and the system says you are paid, the system gives you your receipts without you having. So just to ensure that, because for me as an administrator, I believe that your taxes should be seen working for the community. I told them, your taxes are not meant for us to run our offices or pay our allowances. They are meant for us to take care of your streets, evacuate refuse wherever they are, and ensure that drainages are cleared at all times. So the council now has those supervisory councillors. Once they are confirmed by the legislative arm, they now become my cabinet members. So we hold what is called like the Federal Executive Council, the federal government has, and the State Executive Council. Now we hold what is called FGPC, Finance and General Purpose Committee meeting. That is the highest decision-making body of the local government. And then the councillors also hold their own regular meetings. So before we carry out any project, that Finance and General Purpose Committee must sit and give approval to those projects before they are carried out. So that is how the local government administration
at least around. Your own model, that's how it has been working. Now let's look at issue of insecurity. There's a lot of insecurity now, abductions and all of that. Thankfully, it's not very pronounced in Nasarawa or in Kalu. But what are you doing that will ensure peaceful environment in Karu local government?
No, what we've been able to do, one, you see, for instance, in Karu, because of the huge population, of course, we don't have the conventional security agencies that will police our community. They are highly inadequate. Even the few we have, they are highly incapacitated. You will see a whole divisional police office without an operational vehicle. So how do you perform your duty? And they look up to the local government to provide all of that.
Logistics.
You can see. So what we've been able to do is to get the religious leaders together, get traditional rulers together, get all the youth groups, get all those organizations together, and then we hold monthly security meeting, peace and security meeting, to say, look, this is our community. We need to take charge of our community, make peace in our community. It is not the police or the civil defense or the conventional security agencies that will bring law and order in our community. We should be able to provide that. They can only enforce. If we have people who feel they are above our law, they are going to be highly recalcitrant to our corporate existence, then we hand them over. So that has been able to work for us, and that is why we keep advocating. Instead of creating the state police that is everywhere we're talking about, why can't you create community police? Let them be, the local government be in charge of them.
But do you have vigilante that's on the payroll of the council?
They are not on payroll of the council, but the council provide them with logistics support.
Okay.
But we have what is called the Nasarawa State Youth Empowerment Scheme. This is like also another security outfit of the states that operates within the local government, but it's the state government that pays them allowances. But the local government also provide them with logistics. So those ones, you have those who are in charge of community watch, traffic regulation, and all of that. So they themselves, we call them Nayes in Nasarawa State, and the vigilante, traditional ruler, all of them put together are responsible for ensuring that the community is safe, and then the police every nook and cranny, and then report directly to the police, who is the leader of security agencies in our community.
Okay, as we round up, you can join this conversation by calling our toll line. It should be on your screen now. If you want to speak to the chairman of Karu local government on what he's been able to do, he's been there for 3 years. That's the number to call, 0809. Please just call him. But when you call, please stay away from your TV set and tell us your name and where you are calling in from. We can take few calls before we wrap up this segment. So, Chairman,
Yeah.
COVID-19 is ravaging Nigeria. So how has Karu local government fared in public health, in helping the fight against COVID-19?
Well, you know, because of our proximity to the FCT, we are put at a very high risk position. This is because after Lagos, the next city with the highest infectious rate is Abuja. And majority of the guys, the citizens who reside in Karu, commute between Abuja and Karu on a daily basis.
Hello?
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Tell us your name and where you are calling from. You are on to ITV.
Okay, I'm Stephen. You are calling from Masaka and work for this new site opposite Ugoma.
Okay.
I can listen to them talking on TV. I want to confirm what the Okada riders are doing and the tax collector of the Okada riders. We are not being happy the way they normally come to the main road, and especially in Ado Junction. The court goes slow there by arresting these Okada riders all the time. It's very, very wrong. And the way you organize it, like maybe if you are coming to make an arrest or start payment or anything, you take them by the side, not by stopping them on the major, the federal roads. I went in to correct that issue because that thing is causing so many hurdles in that junction. And that junction, all those people that are studying there, I don't know if they can make a way of maybe sending them back more so that the car can pass easily to drop passengers. I'll be very grateful. And then secondly, we have so many issues here in Masaka, what especially the dustbin. I want them to arrange it in such a way. I'm very, very happy the way they normally behave on the parking of the dustbin and other things. But the way people normally do is that they pass dustbin on the road, which is wrong. I'll be grateful if you can address these two issues for me. I'll be very, very happy.
Okay, the chairman will respond to you. Thanks for calling in from Massacre. Did you hear him?
Yeah, I heard it.
Okay.
Clearly. Yeah, clearly. I think the challenge with the
Okada riders, and then
issue,
the enforcement.
The major problem in Massacre where he's talking about, I think, is around the market. The market is on the road, so the market itself is a major problem for the locality. And then the Okada riders is, we take certain taxes from them. But what we did is to allow them, they have a union, to give them some sense of belonging so that they can have some level of control, is to say, okay, your union collect the tax in a very decent manner from your members and remit to local government. So that you also know that you are a stakeholder of the local government. And because most of them come in from different states, some of them don't even have addresses. So, and because the place is large, you see, somebody will come in today and leave tomorrow.
Okay, sorry, let me pause you because hello, tell us your name and where you are calling from. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, tell us your name and where you are calling from.
My name is Mr. Yusuf, and I'm speaking from Maraba.
Okay, your chairman is here.
Yes, I'm very happy. I woke up and tuned to ITV and I saw him speaking on television. That gave me greater joy. Honorable Chairman, may God bless you.
Amen. Thank you. Good morning.
Son of your father.
Thank you. Good morning.
Son of your father. Those of us who live within Maraba, we know the move between houses, people wash their pots, wash their goods, throw all of them on the road. You cannot know when you will even move on food. This is happening within the majority of our locality. So, for all the other efforts we are put, we are currently behind you.
Thank you very much.
I want to thank you very much for all the efforts.
Thank you very much for calling in. We appreciate it. So, Mr. Chairman, maybe you quickly respond to those two callers.
I think there will be no there will be no big explanation. We're taking note of their comments, and for the Okada issue, we'll draw the attention of the guys who are doing that to ensure that they don't block the roads and cause unnecessary gridlock.
Gridlock. Okay.
And I thank the man who called from Maraba.
Hello. Hello? Hello, tell us your name and where you are calling from.
Hello?
Yes, you are on to ITV. Tell us your name and where you are calling from.
Hello?
I can hear you. Tell us your name and where you are calling from. Oh, okay. I think we lost that call. So, very quickly, how do we guarantee, and this will be our last shot with our time is spent, how do we guarantee local government autonomy? You painted a very gory picture, even though things are not that bad with your council, but you are just privileged, maybe because of your contiguity to Abuja. But in terms of giving life to local government administration, there have been several efforts to have local government autonomy. What do you think needs to be done to make you more vibrant and impactful on the grassroots?
Mr. Ojo, I think there will be nothing that anybody will advocate for more than the autonomy itself.
Okay.
The autonomy gives the local government, it is the only thing that can address almost all the challenges.
So what kind of autonomy are we talking about?
No, full autonomy. Let it operate as a federating unit.
Okay.
Let it be that whenever INEC is conducting election for the president, for governor, also conduct for the local government.
Okay.
Let the local government also have a 4-year tenure. Let them have the same tenure because they are of equal status. Actually.
Yes. Lagos actually is operating 4-year tenure for
they are
local
of
government.
equal status. Let INEC conduct election.
So you are calling for the scope of state independent
Of course, if
electoral
there will be a local government autonomy and then you still allow a state independent electoral commission to operate, then the local government is not autonomous. Because the federal government and state government, their elections are conducted by the INEC, the federal INEC, and then you say a state INEC should conduct for local government. It means the local government is still not autonomous. So it has to operate as a federating unit. By that, it will now address the leadership recruitment challenge that we're continuing to have. It's because the community who have not had the opportunity to really, in different, apart from places like Nasarawa, there are almost all the states. They are basically like a governor trying to select who will become the chairman, you know. So with due respect, so I think the solution is once the autonomy is granted, it will address leadership recruitment. It means the first 11 within the community will compete to become local government chairman and councillor. By that, you can have effective leadership. This is 21st century, and you know this is where some of us young people will come into governance. And then it's supposed to be a mainstreaming process. Then from there, you can advance, you know. And today, as young as I am, I have the privilege to be local government chairman. If not that the governor allows the process to be fair, you know, politics in Nigeria is too expensive for young people to try.
I think we need to pause you at that point. I know somebody said the religious leaders because they can spend the entire day explaining themselves. But I want to thank you for coming on this show, Development Focus with Jide Ojo on ITV. I know you are seeking re-election. I wish you all the best as you vie for the party primaries and maybe later. We will bring you back when you are back to the office, maybe later in the year. We should celebrate with you. Thanks for honoring our invitation. And please stay safe and stay blessed.
Thank you.
That will be the size of our first, the first discussion segment on development focus with Jide on ITV. We'll go on short break.